Alright. So next up, in what is apparently supposed to be the Rick Moranis review series, we have Brewster's Millions, starring Richard Pryor and John Candy. A movie where Rick Moranis only makes a cameo appearance. He's got a beard, so you can barely recognize him. It's a blink and you miss a cameo. If I had known that, I probably wouldn't have picked this movie to be a part of it. I didn't know that. I thought he was a bigger part of the film, but no, he's not. That said, I enjoyed this film. I do have some problems. As I normally do, I watch reviews for movies that I watch just to get people's opinions. And one of the only reviews I could find on YouTube is that of some legendary critics, that being Siskel and Ebert. And watching their short review, I seem to agree with them a little bit. The comedy in this film is not very much for me. They said that and there was no real overarching villain. Yes, there was. There's a little bit beginning, there's a thing in the end, but they're not very active. There's, they go back to them a few times to show that they're still involved, but there's not like, actively doing stuff. They just set up something that comes back at the end of the film. That's it. So Brewster's Millions tells the story of Montgomery Monty Brewster, a baseball player for the local baseball team, the Bulls, and his best friend is John Candy, and Brewster is brought in by Commissioner Gordon, Pat Hingle, Commissioner Gordon, and he's told via video from his late uncle, who's a white guy, as you may have noticed that Richard Pryor is not, but apparently they explain it like, oh, your like great grandfather had an affair with a white woman and that was him, and then your great grandma. I don't know. It's hard to follow, but essentially here's the deal. Monty stands to inherit $300 million from his uncle. However, because his uncle was tortured as a kid, forced to smoke cigars in a closet, I don't know. He's going to test Brewster. He's going to make him take $30 million right away and tell him he has to spend it within a month. If he does that, then he gets the $300 million. He cannot acquire any assets. He cannot blow it all on gambling. He has to, generally spend it within a month's time. He can also not tell anyone. He can't tell his best friend, can't tell anyone he knows. Not even the accountant lady that is assigned to him, he can't tell her about it. Or he can take another deal, which is take $1 million and forget the whole thing. Sign the rest of the money over to the bank and they'll put it to charities or whatever. At least that's what they say. And he decides to take the deal for $300 million. So essentially, he's smart. He starts buying people to be security guards and paying them off and this and that. And paying off people to decorate stuff and that. And then John Candy comes in and he brings in this better guy to have them make good bets, which of course is not what they want. He decides to run for mayor and tell everyone to vote none of the above. So he'll spend all this money and end up losing it. So the accountant lady is his love interest. I don't think there's really any chemistry there. She's got a boyfriend, played by Stephen Collins from Seventh Heaven. That's all I'll say about him. I don't want to go any more into him. But he's the fiancé, the jealous guy, whatever. And he's brought into this firm because they want to screw over Brewster they send him to this furniture store and have him take back the $20,000 that he paid the furniture store for stuff. So there's that. They get the receipt or whatever. But here's the thing. Like, the receipt, I don't understand. I guess I don't understand this. Wouldn't he notice he's not getting the furniture? Because he can't take, I don't know, to pay for furniture. Wouldn't he know he didn't get the furniture? And wouldn't they have to give that receipt to the accountant lady? I don't know. It's a hurt my head situation. All right? But anyway, good job a little bit here. Anyway, so what happens is he spends all his money, right? And he eventually gets there midnight, almost midnight, like I said, and find out that there's a outstanding vote, none of the above, but he has no money. And I do like this scene where he's just walking because he can't afford a cab, so he has to walk there. But then it takes him all day to do that. But he walks in, and in comes the fiance, and he's like, "Oh, I got good news. You got $20 million or $20,000 left." You know, he's like, "I'm done. I've had it," and he's ready to sell. But then, technically, it doesn't violate, even though she knows about it now. But the fiance guy tells his fiance about what is going on, because she's like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Well, I guess it's no harm in telling you now." So he tells her everything, and she rushes in and says, "Don't do it, don't sign it away, they're trying to screw you over." But he still got $20,000. So now he's got to try to spend that $20,000 in less than like a minute. He eventually gives the $20,000 to the accountant lady to be a retainer, which I'm not sure what that is, but she takes it. My only problem is here with this is, yes, it's a fun little thing. We gotta rush to get her. She gotta sign a receipt before it goes ding dong. But here's the thing: can't you just dismiss that $20,000? It's been frauded. It's out there that they screwed him. They're trying to screw him. So can they just dismiss that $20,000 as he did spend it and they took it back? So technically he did spend it, they took it back. It's in their possession, which means they own the money. Yes, it's technically in his name, but it's in their possession. He didn't take the money back. He was holding it, I guess. But, okay, my point is, he didn't go get the money back. Yes, it's his money, but can't they just write it off? Can they say, "You know what? He spent that money. You tried to screw him. We're not counting that." That would make more sense. But no, we gotta try to be funny and just race to the end of the clock to get it. And then it ends without any wraparound. I kind of think we need some wraparound here. Some wrap-up scenes. Because by the end of this, everyone he knows is disappointing in him. Except for the accountant lady. What about his best friend? What about other people who don't like the fact? Because at the end there, they take donations so he won't be broke, and he doesn't accept it. And then, like, John Candy's like, "Give me 2 bottles whatever he's drinking." So I don't know. Do you think there'd be some kind of wrap up where he tells John Candy, you know, what he had to do, and that's why he did it? But then there's not. He's not even there at the end, which I found weird. Yes, I know he shouldn't technically be there, but you think he would have been. I don't know. And he's not allowed to tell anyone. So, alright, so now that I went through the plot, let me talk about my biggest problems with this film. One of them is Richard Pryor. Don't get me wrong, he was a very funny man. However, there's a difference. 70s Richard Pryor was funny. His episode where he hosted SNL back in 76, very funny. However, this is 80s Richard Pryor. Like, Superman 3 Richard Pryor. He just comes off as desperate to me. Like, he trying to be funny. There's a couple jokes in here that work, but like most of the time, John Candy is the one that gets a laugh out of me. Like, there's a whole joke towards the end of the film where they're playing baseball against the Yankees, for God's sake, and then he's like, "Oh, he tells like the guy that's up to bat. He goes, "Oh, I hear you got an ugly wife." And he's like, "What? They call my wife ugly?" And this guy comes up and he goes, they just start arguing. He's like, "What?" He's like, "I'm just saying to me." He goes, I don't know. Have you seen a good wife?" "Yeah, ugly bitch." And he hits the ball. That was funny to me. But again, that wasn't Richard Pryor. There's some things that come off as funny, but to me, 80s Richard Pryor is just not funny. Like, for me, he ruined Superman 3. What was a serious franchise is now goofed up because of him. And then they didn't change that with Superman 4, which I think is the better film, in my opinion. I'm just saying. And but yeah, it's not bad against Richard Pryor. He's good acting in this film, but the comedy leaves something to be desired. Also, making the lawyers villains? Why? What do they have to gain? It was said before that if the money defaulted to the law, to the lawyers, they'd have to give it to charity. So they're not gonna make money anyway. They told him if it defaulted back to them, they'd have to give it to charities. To split it up between charities. So they're not going to make money because it's going to go to charity. So what are they gaining in this? Other than a new partner and that Stephen Collins. They're not making any money out of this. I don't get it. They have to give it to charity from what I understand. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And what really brought it down is that when I'm trying to watch this film and trying to understand what's going on, it was really confusing at first. Once I got like halfway through the film, I started to understand what was going on. But he's just hiring people. Isn't that still providing a service for himself? Like, I'm like, he has to spend it, right? Like, he's hiring people here and there. And like, they take him to the vault, show him the money. It's like, and he's spending it in cash. Shouldn't he have like credit card or something? They had credit cards in the 80s. I don't know. I think this was done better in a film that came out before this called Trading Places with Eddie Murphy, who in my opinion is a bit of a better comedian than Richard Pryor. Just my preference. But I'm just saying. I think it was done better there. Here, this movie's not so bad. It has its good parts, but overall, it's confusing for the first half of the film. And once I figured out what was going on, I was already lost. And then it was about the time that they hired that Stephen Collins guy to screw him over. And I'm just like, okay, I see what's going on here now. They're trying to screw him over. But why? Like I said, it doesn't make any sense. They have to give it to charity. I just don't understand that at all. But overall, this film's okay. Would I watch it again? Sure. Why not? I love me some John Candy, right? But it won't be a constant watch for me. I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. It's fine, but nothing big. And for part of a Rick Moranis review series, he has only like 1-2 minute scene in the film. If anything, he just shows up, says a couple lines, and he's gone. If I knew that, I probably wouldn't have picked this one. But, you know, I'm not mad that I bought it. It's still an interesting watch for me. It's fine. 6 out of 10. So what are your thoughts on Brewster's Millions? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.